In this section, we're going to be reviewing occupational noise exposure, OSHA Standard 1910.95. Our section objectives include learning which parts of the ear are associated with hearing, discovering how hearing loss takes place, and reviewing best practices on how to prevent hearing damage. OSHA Standard 1910.95 tells us that employers must have a hearing conservation program in place if workers are exposed to a time-weighted average noise level of 80 decibels or higher over an 8-hour work shift. OSHA's permissible exposure limit is 90 decibels with a 5 decibel exchange rate, which means when the noise level is increased by 5 decibels, the amount of time a person can be exposed is cut in half. Permanent hearing loss occurs when exposed to long periods of soft noise, once the cochlear hair cells are damaged, once quiet noise is sent through the eardrum, or until the cochlear hair can grow back. The answer is B. Permanent hearing loss occurs once the cochlear hair cells are damaged. Cochlear hair cells do not regenerate. Your ear consists of 3 major areas: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Sound waves pass through the outer ear and cause vibrations at the eardrum. The eardrum and 3 small bones, the hammer, anvil, and stirrup, amplify the vibrations as they travel to the inner ear. There, the vibrations pass through fluid in a snail-shaped structure in the inner ear called the cochlea. Attached to nerve cells in the cochlea are thousands of tiny hairs that help translate sound vibrations into electrical signals that are transmitted to your brain. Your brain turns these signals into sound. Many people do not realize that hearing loss occurs within the first 5 to 10 years of exposure, which means younger employees are at risk. Hearing loss occurs when exposure to loud noises causes wear and tear on the hairs in the cochlea that send sound signals to the brain. When those hairs are damaged or missing, electrical signals aren't transmitted as efficiently and hearing loss occurs. Noise reduction and maintenance of hearing sensitivity can benefit safety because employees are better able to communicate and to hear alarms and warnings. A temporary shift in the auditory threshold occurs suddenly after exposure to a high level of noise, which results in temporary hearing loss. A temporary threshold shift means the ringing in your ears and the deafness will wear off eventually. The longer you're exposed to the noise, however, the longer it takes to recover. After you've been exposed to excessive noise for too long, your hearing loss becomes permanent. Getting used to loud noise means you're slowly losing your hearing. Noise-induced hearing loss, NIHL, is the most common occupational disease in industrial workplaces and accounts for 1/3 of all work-related diseases. The first symptom of noise-induced hearing loss is the inability to hear other people speaking. Hearing loss can occur without long-term exposure. Noise-induced hearing loss may develop gradually, so people may lose a significant amount of hearing before being aware of its presence. The ultimate solution to a hazard such as loud noise is eliminating the hazard, which means removing it from the workplace altogether. If that isn't possible, engineering controls should be explored to control the hazard. Engineering controls would include alternate designs or modifications to the equipment, such as isolating the equipment or enclosing it with noise-insulating material. Administrative controls would include timing of the work around the hazard, minimizing the amount of time people need to spend in the area, or increasing the worker's distance to the source. PPE is the last line of defense, which includes wearing hearing protection. Foam, single-use earplugs are designed to be disposed, and you should dispose of them daily, especially if you drop them on the ground. If you are given multi-use earplugs, clean and dry them regularly with mild soap and inspect them for cracks or damage before each use. If you have any further questions about occupational noise exposure, reach out to your supervisor, branch safety coordinator, or EHS manager.